So we come in with off of a good result again with ourselves having done well anytime that we have a chance to get a long preparation for the match. The game in Oxford was good for us. It was nice to see Jasmine Wilkinson get 2 goals and an assist. Big night for her, which she's been working hard all season long and has come so close so many times. Our leading scorer from last year, so to get her on track is a big part of our success for our plan for this year. Grace Ivy continues to really have a great season. She scores again on the night, and then Sid Becerra again, dishing out assists and setting up people right and left was outstanding. Taylor Jernigan with another goal on the season, also terrific. Our freshman goalkeeper, was a freshman of the week in the SEC this week. That's second time for her, which is terrific. She's been really a fantastic addition for us in goal and a big part of our success. So as Thomas said, we're currently in fourth place in the SEC. We're only 3 points, only 1 win out of first place. And this is a big week for us. Vanderbilt coming to town. Vanderbilt really handed it to us last year. It really thumped us last year up in Nashville. And this was this week last year was a big turnaround week for us because having just being smashed by them in Nashville and then having to turn around and play the defending SEC champions, Alabama, here on the Sunday. And getting a result against them kind of turned our season, and from that point on, really was the kind of the thing that catapulted us and gave us a great finish to the season. So we're hoping that we can use the 4-1 win on the road to kind of get ourselves a little bit of momentum. Knowing Vanderbilt is such a strong team, they only have 2 losses on the season, only 1 loss in the SEC. That was to the number 1 team in the country. So their quality side, really, the way they play, again, they thumped us last year 6-0. So they're a team that has been able to solve us in the past. So it'll be a very, very difficult game. I know there's a bunch of promotions for the game on Thursday at 7 o'clock. There's I want to say that there's a beer special. There's a lot of points specials going on with 12th man rewards. So important for us to hopefully get the 12th man out to help us in this really, really important match. I'll open up for any questions.
We'll start with Richard.
Coach, you mentioned the loss to Vanderbilt a year ago. How much additional motivation does that add to the preparation for this game? And then also looking at their conference record, how much of a opportunity do you look at this match to pick up those 3 points you were talking about to get back into the title race?
Well, they're ahead of us in the RPI. They're behind us in the SEC standings, but they're ahead of us in the RPI. They're a top 40 team in the RPI, and that in itself is a huge motivator for me. Having been thumped by them last year, hopefully it'll be something for our players. They had 7 shots on goal and scored 6 goals last year, so they were the picture of perfection in the final third. Rachel Dureski, who's their striker, is a fantastic player. But the way that they set things up, they're great in possession. They're one of the teams that if you lose the ball to them, you may not get it back. They're so good in possessing and moving the ball. And I think Darren Ambrose, their coach, that's been a kind of one of the things that they've really made a part of their program is that they're going to be very good when they get the ball. They're very good in wide spaces and creating those scoring chances. So, they've always been a really tough out. We've been fortunate here. We've been pretty good against them, but it's a big out. This will be a tough game for us, and if we can find a way to get a result, it would be huge. And this year, you can see in football how all of a sudden, anyone can beat anybody. But that's the way it's always been in soccer, especially the last 3 or 4 years, is that anyone can step up and beat anybody. And that's the way it was last week. You had, teams anywhere in the standings were stepping up and beating anybody. Florida beat Texas. You had Mississippi State beat number 1 Arkansas. You had all kinds of games going against the rankings were happening. So we know that on any given night anything can happen, and we've got to do what we can to hold home field advantage, especially when we have a chance to play at Ellis Field in front of the 12th man.
We'll go back TV row to Tyler.
Coach, you mentioned, Sydney Fuller and her freshman of the week honor for the second time. Just what kind of performance did you see from her against Ole Miss and what she's brought to this team?
Well, her stature is one thing that I think brings a lot of confidence to the team. I mean, the fact that she's almost 6 feet tall, she's very, very good in the air. She's a very good shot stopper. She because of that stature, because of her presence, she changes shot selection by her opponents, forces them to have to kind of rethink what they're going to do, and some of that rethinking forces them to miss, and sometimes it forces them to take a little bit extra time, which allows our great defenders to close people down a little bit more. She's been able to save and redirect shots as far as being a shot stopper, but as much as anything, people who are taking restarts and free kicks against us, because she's so good and so dominant in the air, I mean, it just makes her range becomes so much greater, and it allows our players to play with that much more confidence.
And we'll go to the other side to Ben.
Speaking to confidence, I know you guys have had a few games earlier on the year where it felt like maybe squandered some good chances you had in terms of the attack, but to have another game with 4 goals, right after having 4 goals against Auburn a couple games ago, how much does that help with confidence? How nice is that to see that?
Yeah, I think we've been creating chances all season long. In our interview with television folks from Ole Miss last week, I guess it hadn't really occurred to me that we had created more scoring chances than just about anyone in the league. When they had mentioned that to me, I was like, oh, that's interesting. But we hadn't finished all the chances, so it was nice to see. It was nice to see Jazz, especially, get herself on the end of some of those crosses, and then also for her to be able to set other people up, set up Grace Ivy, who gets forward from her midfield position, was terrific. And we worked a lot on that in the time leading up to the Ole Miss game, on how we wanted to be more active in the penalty area, how we wanted to be more active in those wide channels to give ourselves better chances, better service. So it's like I said, it's always been a work in progress, and it's always been something that we've been excited about creating those chances, because there's a lot of teams that aren't creating those chances. They were scoring, the goals that were being scored against us were some phenomenal shots that were being scored against us, and we were creating chances that we were just kind of squandering. So learning from those situations in the past, learning from those times that didn't go right for us, being able to go back and adjust them have been good. So now, this week is a real uptick in the quality of our opponent. We're not going to be able to squander chances, because these are teams that, again, like I said, if we lose it, we're not going to get the ball back from these teams, from both Vanderbilt and from Alabama. And they both have got great attacking players, like I said, with Dureski and with Watts, with Vanderbilt, and then especially on Sunday when you've got Gianna Paul, who is a game breaker in the way that she plays. If you make mistakes against these guys, they are going to make you pay for it, and we've got to be the same in the way that we attack.
We got Alex in the front row.
Yeah, you kind of answered my question, but I guess maybe just from a psyche standpoint, when Jazz is finally able to connect on multiple of those chances, what's that kind of do for her mentality, I guess, and just the way you saw her demeanor maybe during and then after that game?
Well, I think it helps everyone grow. I mean, you grow in your stature that when you feel good. If you're a golfer and you're going to hit the fairway every time, then you step up to the tee box and you just know you're ready to put the ball down and hit it. Well, it's the same thing when you're a striker. You want the ball. You just want the ball because you know that there's a better than average chance that you're going to put that ball on frame. And if you put the ball on frame, there's a good chance that it's going to either go in, or you're going to put the ball in a position where the goalkeeper either has to save it or pick the ball out of her net, or she's going to put a rebound in front of it, and then we're going to finish off that next chance. So. And if you saw her post-game interviews afterwards, I mean, she's so she's such a team player. You know, she talked all the way about how it was about her teammates setting her up, and it wasn't about her. It was about, you know, my teammates did this for me. I was just kind of the exclamation point at the end of the sentence, and that's the way she is. She's she's been a great addition to the team, but she's just a big part of what this team has been in setting that up. Same thing with the rest of our strikers who have been there. So it's neat to see. And you know, we had for the first time, Bree Severance was also, you know, in the lineup. This is Bree's as a transfer from the University of Kansas, and this was her first game that she was able to play. She's been coming off of injuries that she had at KU, and now she's able to finally get in there and be kind of in the mix for us. So it's nice to see some of these things coming online for us as we get into the real crux of SEC play as we go into the second half of the SEC race.